The battlefield was silent. Only the smell of smoke and the faint sound of broken machines filled the air. The human soldier, Captain Elias, stepped carefully through the wreck of the alien starship. His boots crunched against shattered metal. His rifle was heavy in his hands, and his mind stayed sharp. He had been told no survivors were possible, but something inside pushed him to keep searching. As he moved deeper into the wreck, he heard it, a faint breath, a whisper. He raised his weapon quickly, ready for danger behind a collapsed wall. He found her, the alien captive. Her skin glowed faintly under the broken lights. Her eyes were bright like liquid silver. Chains of energy bound her arms and legs. She was wounded, yet even in weakness, her presence was powerful. Elias pointed his weapon at her. His orders were simple: capture or kill. He had no reason to show mercy, but the alien raised her head and spoke in a trembling voice. "Human, spare me." Her words were clear, her accent strange, yet every syllable carried weight. "Together we can create the strongest bloodline." Elias froze. The words were unexpected. He had heard of alien lies, alien tricks, but her voice was not mocking. It was desperate, pleading. The chains rattled as she tried to move closer. Her eyes locked on him, not with hatred, but with a strange intensity that unsettled him. He should have called his squad. He should have followed orders. Yet something in her expression held him still. She was not begging for her life like a coward. She was offering something else, something larger. "Why should I spare you?" Elias asked, his voice steady, but his heart raced. "Your kind has killed humans without mercy." Her lips curved in pain. "And humans have killed us without mercy too," she answered. "But I am not like them. I carry secrets, power. My blood holds what others fear." She leaned forward, her chain sparking. "You, human, could choose to destroy me. Or you could choose to make something new." Elias's grip on his rifle tightened. He felt the weight of his training against the strange pull of her words. He should have pulled the trigger, ended it quickly, but instead he found himself staring at her wounds, at the thin lines of blood that glowed faintly. Her body was fragile in this state, but her spirit was not broken. The silence of the wreck grew heavier. Dust fell from the ceiling. The air smelled of burnt circuits and ozone. Elias felt as if the whole universe had shrunk to this one room, this one decision. The alien captive lowered her head. Her voice softened. "Do not think of me as your enemy. Think of me as a key. If you kill me, the war continues as it always has. But if you spare me, together, we can change everything." Her words echoed inside him. He remembered his commander's strict voice. No survivors, no exceptions. Yet looking at her, Elias wondered if blind obedience was the same as wisdom. She raised her head again. Her silver eyes gleamed even in the darkness. "I can give you strength beyond what humans know. I can give you a future where no one will dare touch you. Our bloodline would be unstoppable." Elias felt a chill. Her plea was not only for her life. It was an offer, a temptation. He thought of the long years of war, the endless deaths, the countless faces he could no longer remember. Could this strange captive truly end that cycle? Or was it a dangerous dream that would cost even more blood? His weapon trembled in his hands. For the first time in years, he doubted. The soldier in him screamed for action. The man in him hesitated, and in that moment he realized this choice was not just about her. It was about himself, about the kind of future he wanted to see. The wreck around them groaned. The ship was dying, and time was running out. Elias looked at her again, her body chained, her face calm but burning with hope. Her words hung in the air like a promise. "Human, spare me," she whispered again, softer this time, almost a prayer. And Elias knew that whatever choice he made next, it would shape the destiny of more than just himself. It would shape the destiny of two species. The wrecked ship groaned as metal bent under its own weight. Captain Elias knew he had only minutes before the structure collapsed. Still, he did not move. His weapon was steady, but his mind was storming. In front of him sat the alien captive, chained, wounded, but speaking with fire in her voice. "You hesitate," she said, her voice sharp yet soft. "That means you are already considering my words." Elias narrowed his eyes. "I am considering whether you live or die," he answered coldly. Yet deep inside, he knew she was right. His hesitation was already dangerous. The alien tilted her head, silver hair falling over her glowing skin. Her lips curved in a faint smile. "If you kill me, you follow orders, you return to your camp. You live as a loyal soldier, but nothing changes. The war will consume both of our races until there is nothing left." Her words cut through him like a blade. Elias had seen too many battlefields where nothing was left except bones and ash. He could not deny the truth in her tone. "And if I spare you?" he asked. His voice was low, almost a growl. She leaned forward, chains rattling as sparks flickered across them. Her silver eyes locked on his. "Then we make a bargain. You give me life, and I give you power. Together, human and alien, we create a bond no army can break." Elias almost laughed, but the sound died before it left his throat. "You speak of power as if it is a gift, but you are my prisoner. You have nothing to give." The alien's eyes burned brighter. "You are wrong," she said. "Inside my blood lies knowledge your kind cannot imagine. My people call me the keeper of the line, the one chosen to preserve what others fear. That is why I am hunted. That is why they chain me. They fear what I carry." Her chains glowed faintly as if responding to her words. Elias felt a cold shiver. He had heard rumors of alien experiments, of bloodlines that could change destiny. But seeing her chained there, speaking with such certainty, made those rumors feel like more than stories. He stepped closer, lowering his weapon slightly though not completely. "If I spare you, what do you truly want from me?" Her smile faded, replaced by raw honesty. "Protection," she whispered, "and a partner, someone who can help me rebuild what was lost. Together, we can shape something stronger than empires. You and I, human, can create the strongest bloodline this galaxy has ever seen." Elias's chest tightened. Her words stirred something he did not want to admit. Curiosity, even temptation. He had fought all his life under banners and orders, never asking what the end of war would look like. And now this captive alien was offering him a different vision. Still, suspicion burned in his mind. "How do I know this is not a trick?" he asked. "How do I know you are not leading me to doom?" The alien's gaze softened. She lowered her eyes for the first time. "You don't," she admitted. "You only have trust or fear. If you choose fear, then kill me now. If you choose trust, then unchain me. The galaxy will answer to our choice." The wreck creaked louder, a warning that time was running out. Dust fell in showers from the ceiling. Elias looked at her, chained and glowing in the half-light. He thought of his commander's strict voice. No survivors. He thought of the faces of his fallen comrades. He thought of the endless battles with no end. And he thought of her words, the strongest bloodline. Elias clenched his jaw. He knew he was standing at the edge of something greater than orders, greater than the war itself. The decision would not only define his life, but perhaps the fate of two species. The alien leaned forward once more, her voice low and steady. "Make your choice, human, spare me, and I will be yours, kill me, and the galaxy loses its last chance." Elias raised his weapon again, but his hand shook. The human inside him wanted to know more. The soldier inside him wanted to end it. He stood there, trapped between destiny and duty. The bargain was clear, but the cost was unknown, and as the walls of the ship groaned around them, Elias realized he was not only bargaining for her life, he was bargaining for the future of mankind. The wrecked ship groaned louder. Elias felt the floor shift under his boots as sparks shot from broken panels. The air was heavy with smoke and dust. He had no time left. If he stayed, the collapsing ship would bury them both. He glanced once more at the alien captive. Her silver eyes were calm, but her chains sparked violently as the power core of the ship failed. Her voice, soft but unyielding, cut through the chaos. "Decide now, human, if I stay bound. I die here. If you release me, I live, and so do you." Elias hesitated only a breath longer. Then he acted. With a sharp motion, he lowered his rifle and slammed the emergency release on her restraints. Sparks flew, The chains dissolved into smoke, and for the first time, she stood free. She stumbled, weakened, but her presence filled the small chamber like a storm. Elias grabbed her arm and pulled her toward the shattered corridor. "Move!" he barked. His soldier's voice had returned. "The ship is going down." Together they ran through the twisting wreck. Every hallway burned. Every door hissed with fire. The alien's body glowed faintly in the darkness, guiding Elias forward. But even as they fled, his mind raced. Had he just freed an ally or unleashed a monster? Behind them, a sudden roar shook the air. Enemies had arrived. A rival squad of alien soldiers swarmed through the wreckage. Their armor gleamed red, their weapons raised. They had come to finish what the crash had not. Elias pulled the alien captive behind a broken wall. His rifle snapped up, fire flashing as bullets tore through the air. 3 enemies fell, but more charged forward. The alien raised her hand, and for the first time Elias saw her power. Silver energy pulsed from her palm, ripping through the corridor like lightning. The enemy soldiers screamed as their weapons shattered. Their bodies slammed against the walls, smoke rising from their armor. Elias froze for a heartbeat. His eyes widened. This was no ordinary prisoner. She had been speaking truth. There was power in her blood, power that made armies tremble. The alien turned to him, breathing hard. "Now you see," she whispered. "Without me, you would already be dead." Elias said nothing. His soldier's mind screamed for control, but another part of him, the man beyond the uniform, saw her differently now. Not as a captive, not as a burden, but as a force that could shape destiny. They kept running, dodging fire and falling steel. The wreck was collapsing faster. The core deep inside was breaking apart. Elias felt the heat behind them like the breath of a burning sun. At the final hallway, an explosion blocked their way. Fire consumed the exit. The alien stepped forward, her silver eyes blazing. "Hold on," she said firmly, before Elias could question her. She spread her arms wide, and energy burst from her body. A shield of shimmering light opened a path through the flames. Together they plunged through fire and smoke, stumbling out into the night sky. The alien ship collapsed behind them with a thunderous roar. The ground shook as metal and fire consumed the ruins. For a long moment, Elias stood gasping in the cold air. His rifle hung at his side. His body ached, his heart pounded. Beside him, the alien captive stood tall, her chains gone, her power revealed. Her silver eyes glowed against the darkness. She turned to him, her voice calm but filled with promise. "You saved me. Now I have saved you. This is only the beginning of our bargain, human." Elias's thoughts spun. He had broken orders. He had freed the most dangerous prisoner of war. He had seen her unleash a power that no human weapon could match. And yet, as he looked at her, he felt no regret, only the weight of a new path unfolding before him. The alien captive stepped closer, her expression unreadable. "They will come for us," she whispered, "both your kind and mine, but if you stay by my side, we will not run, we will rise." Elias looked at her and saw both danger and destiny. The war around them was no longer the same. He had chosen mercy, and now he was bound to her, her power, her promise, her peril. Everything was now tied to him, and as the night burned with the wreck behind them, Elias understood the true escape was not from the ship. It was from the chains of his old life. He had crossed a line, and there was no going back. The night was cold. The wreck behind them still burned, sending smoke into the sky. Captain Elias stood in silence, his rifle heavy in his grip. Beside him, the alien captive breathed slowly, her glowing eyes fixed on the horizon. She no longer looked weak, no longer looked like a chained prisoner. Now she looked like something far greater. Elias wanted answers. His soldier's mind demanded them. He turned to her sharply. "Enough games. Tell me the truth. Who are you really?" She met his gaze without fear. "I told you before," she said quietly. "I am the keeper of the line." Her words echoed strangely in the still night. Elias frowned. "That means nothing to me," he growled. "Explain it, or I end this right now." His finger hovered near the trigger. The alien did not flinch. She stepped closer, her silver eyes glowing softly. My people have long-guarded blood that is not like any other. It carries memory, strength, and knowledge from countless generations. That is why I was chosen to protect it. That is why they hunt me. My very existence is a threat to their rule. Elias felt his chest tighten. The memory of her power inside the wreck replayed in his mind. The way lightning had burst from her hands, the way enemy soldiers had fallen like dry leaves in a storm. He realized this was not only skill, it was something deeper, something ancient. So your bloodline, Elias muttered, that is what makes you valuable. The alien nodded. Valuable to those who want to control it, dangerous to those who fear it, but powerful to the one who chooses to embrace it. Her gaze sharpened. That is why I pleaded with you, human. Together, we can shape a new future. A bond between us would make us unstoppable. Elias swallowed hard. Her words pressed into his thoughts like a weight he could not shake. He had fought wars for leaders who promised victory, but he had never seen any of them wield the kind of power she had shown. Still, doubt gnawed at him. You expect me to believe you? Elias demanded. You expect me to trust an alien I just freed from chains? The alien's face softened. She looked at him not with arrogance, but with strange sadness. I did not expect you to trust me quickly, she whispered. But you saw what I did. You saw what I carry. You know I am not lying. Her words struck deeper than Elias wanted to admit. He could not deny what his own eyes had seen. Yet he also knew the danger. If what she said was true, then the commanders of both species would hunt them without rest. She was not only a fugitive. She was a spark that could set the galaxy aflame. The silence stretched between them until the alien spoke again, softer this time. Do you know why I chose you? Elias frowned, caught off guard. Chose me? What do you mean? Her silver eyes glimmered. When you found me in that wreck, I felt something different in you. You hesitated, you questioned. You're not a blind weapon like the others. You have the strength to disobey, the strength to see beyond orders. That is why I pleaded with you. That is why I offered you my bloodline. Elias's heart pounded. He hated how her words cut through his armor. No one had ever spoken of his hesitation as strength. To his commanders, hesitation was weakness, betrayal. But to her, it was the reason she believed in him. For a long moment, Elias said nothing. His breath misted in the cold air. His eyes flicked back to the wreckage, to the glowing fire that marked the death of countless soldiers. War was endless, bloody, and cruel, and now he stood beside the very key that could end it, or make it far worse. Finally, he lowered his rifle. His voice was low. If I protect you, if I stand with you, I become a traitor to my own people. The alien stepped closer, her face inches from his. Her voice was calm but carried fire. No, you become something greater than a soldier. You become the one who changes the course of history. With me, you are not betraying your people. You are saving them from a cycle of war they cannot escape. Her words struck him like thunder. He could not answer. He could only stare into her glowing eyes, feeling both fear and an unfamiliar pull deep inside. For the first time since freeing her, Elias realized this was not only about survival. This was about destiny. Her secrets were no longer hidden, and the truth was far heavier than he had imagined. He had not just spared a captive. He had unlocked the beginning of something that could reshape the galaxy. The night stretched long. Elias and the alien captive moved away from the burning wreck. Their steps were heavy, their breaths uneven. Every shadow in the forest felt like an enemy's eyes, yet neither spoke for a while. The silence between them was louder than any words. Finally, Elias stopped near a broken ridge. He turned sharply, his rifle ready. Tell me why I should not leave you here, he demanded. You are dangerous. You carry secrets that could doom us both. The alien's silver eyes shimmered in the pale moonlight. Her voice was calm, but beneath it was something softer. Because you already know you cannot walk away. Elias's chest tightened. He hated how true it sounded. He had fought for orders all his life, but in just one night he had broken every rule. His hands trembled, not from fear of her, but from fear of himself. She stepped closer, slowly, carefully, as if approaching a wild animal. You saved me. You chose me over your duty, she whispered. Do not pretend it meant nothing. Elias turned away, his jaw clenched. I saved you because the ship was falling apart, not because of your words. The alien smiled faintly. Then why did you unchain me? Why not kill me where I sat? He had no answer. The silence between them became heavy again. And in that silence, something unspoken began to grow. They built a small fire beneath the trees. The alien sat across from him, her skin glowing faintly in the dark. She looked almost human now, tired and wounded, yet still carrying that strange, burning presence. Elias kept his rifle near, but his eyes betrayed him. They kept drifting toward her. She noticed, her lips curved into the faintest smile. You are curious, she said softly, not just about me, but about what I offered. Elias's pulse quickened. Your offer is madness, he snapped. A human and an alien. Our people would call it betrayal. Her eyes never left his. Sometimes betrayal is the only way to break chains, she whispered. Sometimes it is the only way to create something greater. The fire crackled. Shadows moved across her face. For the first time, Elias saw not just power, but vulnerability. She was hunted, wounded, alone. Her plea was not only for survival, it was for connection. You speak of bloodlines, of destiny, Elias muttered, but all I see is danger. The alien leaned forward, her voice low and steady. Danger and destiny often walk together, she said. You feel it too, human. That pull between us, you fight it, but it grows stronger every moment. Elias felt his throat tighten. He wanted to deny it. He wanted to shut her out, but he could not. The truth was there, raw and undeniable. Her presence stirred something deep inside him that no battle, no commander, no war had ever touched. She reached out slowly, her hand hovering just above his. Her touch did not land, but the air between them seemed to spark. Our bond is forbidden, she whispered, but it is real, and if you accept it, we become more than soldier and captive. We become the beginning of something the galaxy has never seen. Elias's breath caught. He pulled his hand back sharply, yet his heart betrayed him with its pounding rhythm. He had faced death 1,000 times, but never had he felt fear like this. Fear of choice, fear of feeling. The fire burned low, casting them both in soft light. She leaned back, but her eyes never left him. You cannot deny it forever, human, she said. Connection is stronger than orders, stronger than war. Elias closed his eyes for a moment. His mind screamed that this was wrong, forbidden, dangerous. Yet his heart whispered something else, something reckless, something he could not silence. He opened his eyes again and looked at her across the fire. She was no longer only an alien captive. She was temptation, promise, and peril bound into one. And in that moment, Elias knew the truth. This was no longer just about war, no longer about survival. It was about something far more dangerous. The forbidden connection between them had already begun. The fire had burned down to glowing embers. The forest was quiet, but Elias could not rest. His eyes were sharp, his thoughts restless. Across the flames, the alien captive watched him with calm patience. Her silver eyes glowed faintly, as if she could see the storm inside him. In the distance, faint lights flickered in the sky. Dropships, Elias knew. His commanders had found the wreck. They would search, they would discover the missing prisoner. And when they did, they would come for him too. The alien broke the silence. They are close, she whispered. You feel it, don't you? Elias nodded slowly. They'll be here before dawn, he muttered. His voice was steady, but his heart beat fast. He knew what was coming. His orders had been clear. No survivors. If they found him with her, they would call him a traitor. She leaned forward, her voice soft but sharp. Then you must choose. Will you give me to them, or will you stand with me? Elias clenched his fists. His mind screamed for order, for duty, for loyalty to the flag he had served his whole life. But another voice, quieter yet stronger, whispered inside him. It reminded him of her power, of her truth, of the connection he could no longer deny. You asked me to betray everything I've sworn to protect, Elias said bitterly, his eyes burned with conflict. "My people, my oath, my brothers in arms. Do you understand what you're asking?" The alien's gaze did not falter. "I understand more than you think," she answered softly. "But I am not asking you to betray them. I am asking you to save them. The path they walk now leads only to death, to endless war. With me, with us, there is another way." Her words cut deep. Elias looked at her and saw not only an alien, but a mirror reflecting his own doubts. He had fought wars that felt endless. He had buried more comrades than he could remember, and now this choice burned before him like fire. The sound of engines grew louder in the night. Elias tightened his grip on his rifle. His commanders were coming. Soldiers would drop from the sky. They would find her, chain her, and burn her alive if they had to, and they would kill him for disobeying. The alien stepped closer. Her voice was urgent, her silver eyes glowing brighter. "Elias," she said, using his name for the first time. "Choose now. Choose me. Choose destiny." Elias's heart hammered. She was close enough that he could feel her warmth, close enough that her words filled every space in his mind. The soldier inside him screamed to resist, to finish the mission, but the man inside him, the man who wanted more than endless war, was listening. "They will call me a traitor," he whispered. "They will call you savior one day," she replied, her voice steady. "When they see what we create, when they see the strength of what we can be together, they will understand." The forest trembled as dropships descended. Elias raised his eyes to the sky. The glow of engines lit the treetops. He had seconds left. His choice could not be delayed. The alien reached for his hand. Her touch was light, but it burned like fire through his veins. "Duty or destiny," she whispered. "Which will you claim?" Elias closed his eyes. He saw the faces of his fallen comrades. He heard the voice of his commander demanding obedience. He felt the weight of the rifle in his hand. And then he saw her, silver eyes, burning spirit, her promise of a future beyond chains and blood. He opened his eyes, and in that moment, Elias knew his choice was made. He turned his back on the sky, on the dropships, on the orders that had bound him his whole life. His hand gripped hers firmly, his voice low but certain. "I choose destiny." The alien's eyes widened, not with surprise, but with fierce pride. "Then we stand together," she said. Her words were both promise and vow. The roar of engines filled the forest. Soldiers would soon surround them. But Elias no longer trembled. His choice had been carved into his soul. He was no longer just a soldier. He was something more. And as the first lights pierced through the trees, Elias raised his rifle. Not at her, but the army that had once been his own. The path of destiny had begun. The forest shook as dropships tore through the sky. Engines roared. Dust and leaves swirled like storms. Elias stood tall, his rifle ready. Beside him, the alien captive no longer looked like a prisoner. She stood with fire in her silver eyes, her glow brighter than the flames of the wreck they had left behind. Soldiers dropped into the clearing. Their armor gleamed, weapons raised. The commander's voice boomed through a speaker. "Captain Elias, stand down. You are harboring an enemy. Obey your orders and surrender the alien at once." Elias's chest tightened. For the last time, he heard the voice of authority, the voice that had shaped his life, but he did not lower his weapon. He turned his head slightly toward her, the alien who had offered him destiny. She met his gaze and nodded once, silently reminding him of his choice. The commander shouted again, "Do not make this mistake, soldier. You will be branded traitor, executed for treason." Elias took a deep breath. His voice carried across the clearing. "If loyalty means blind killing, then I choose treason." His words echoed like thunder. The soldiers moved forward, rifles flashing, the night lit with gunfire. Elias fired back, his aim deadly. Years of training had made him a weapon, and now he used it not for commanders, but for his own path. The alien lifted her arms. Silver energy burst from her palms, tearing through the ground like lightning. The forest exploded with light. Enemy soldiers fell screaming, their armor shattering under her power. Together, man and alien fought as one. Elias moved like shadow, striking with precision. She moved like storm, her power unstoppable. For a moment, they were not hunted, not divided by blood or species. They were a force bound together. But the soldiers kept coming, wave after wave. They surrounded the clearing. Numbers pressed in from every side. Elias's rifle clicked empty. He threw it aside and drew his blade. His body burned with exhaustion, but his spirit blazed with fire. The alien staggered, her glow flickering. She had used too much power. Her knees bent, her body trembling. Elias caught her before she fell. "Stay with me," he whispered fiercely. "We're not done yet." Her silver eyes met his, dim but still burning. "Then take it," she whispered, her hand pressed against his chest. Energy surged through him like a storm. His veins glowed, his muscles burned with strength he had never known. The alien's power flowed into him. Elias roared as light burst from his skin. Soldiers froze, fear in their eyes. He moved faster than any human, stronger than any machine. His blade cut through steel as if it were air. His strikes were no longer his alone. They were hers too. Together, their strength became one. Their bond was sealed in battle. For the first time, Elias understood what she had meant. Together they were not only allies, not only survivors, they were the beginning of something greater. The soldiers broke, fear scattering them. Dropships lifted in retreat. Engines roared as they fled into the sky. The clearing fell silent once more. Smoke drifted through the air. The ground was scorched. Bodies lay scattered. Elias stood in the center, glowing faintly with her power still flowing in his veins. The alien leaned weakly against him. Her voice was soft but filled with pride. "Do you see now?" she whispered. "Alone, we are hunted. Together, we are unchallenged. Together, we are the strongest bloodline." Elias held her close. His heart thundered. He had chosen, and there was no turning back. He was no longer just a captain, no longer just a soldier. He was the first human to carry alien power in his blood. The forest was quiet again, but not peaceful. Above them, the stars burned bright. Somewhere out there, both their enemies were watching. Both sides would hunt them now. Both sides would fear them. Elias looked up at the sky, his voice low but unbreakable. "Let them come," he said. "We will rise. We will build what they fear most." The alien smiled faintly, her silver eyes glowing with fire. "Yes," she whispered, "our story is only beginning." And in the dark forest, under the burning sky, man and alien stood side by side. No longer prisoner and captor, no longer enemy and soldier. They were something new, something forbidden, something unstoppable. The galaxy would soon learn of them, and when it did, nothing would ever be the same again.